a series of town hall meetings that we're having across the parishes. We went to St. James in Montego Bay already. We went to St. Elizabeth 2 weeks ago, and now we're here in your parish. It's a series of town halls that is seeking to give youths a platform to express issues that are affecting them, and also to find ways to advocate, to teach them about their own constitutional rights, and to know how they can find ways of making their communities a better place with all the issues that's affecting them. It's funded by the United Nations Democracy Fund. So big thanks to United Nations to provide this platform. So give them a big round of applause, firstly, United Nations. And of course, it's generally for youth in the ages of 14 to 24, 25, thereabouts, to just come and talk about all the issues affecting them. So we're going to let you meet our lone representative of the many that we invited. And we're going to say someone after he introduces himself, but you may introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Dwayne Vaz, Member of Parliament for Central Westmoreland.
I said lone representative specifically because we invited several. In fact, we invited all of them for various reasons. They're not here.
Well, I'm representing all today, as I said, the lone representative. So I must apologize for my colleagues who aren't able to make it based on probably prior engagements. So I'll be representing for each and every one today.
I think that's a very noble gesture of you. Well, let me just first say that Mr. Vaz is a very young MP, one of the youngest in Jamaica. It's a youth forum that we're having here, a youth town hall. He saw the importance, saw the need, and he cleared his schedule and he is here. So give him a big round of applause, firstly. So that's commendable. At the heart of this project, as I said before, is to strengthen your capacity to speak about the issues affecting you. One of the first issues is crime. 41% of the youth that we did a survey on that was conducted in the parish said that one of the biggest issues affecting them is crime. Mr. Vaz, on a sad note to start this thing, the body of a missing young woman, 21 years old, was found in a cane field yesterday. That's Chantel Wright. This prompted 2 straight days of protest. It affected some of the attendees that had confirmed to be here today. They can't be here. First, your response to the incident and the issue of violent crimes in the parish generally.
Well, as you stated, it's a very sad incident, and it's sad to know that nowadays when you hear someone is missing, the first thing you think about is that more than likely the person won't be found or will be found in a situation where you dread that situation. But the situation with crime in Westmoreland and in Jamaica on a whole is obviously out of control, and it will take a united effort from each and everyone in order to solve what is happening now. No one person, no one organization can find the solution that we're seeking. And I think it's the general breakdown in the values and attitudes in our society on a whole that has led us to where we are right now. And I think a national effort has to be placed with regards to going on a campaign to instill this level of values or this level of value system in the homes, in the schools, in our society as a whole. So it starts from the home, and if we go back and think of when 10, 15, 20 years ago, the way how communities used to be responsible for raising children. And if you look at how persons respond nowadays, because for example, everybody now takes a individual approach where persons only care about themselves and what is happening in their particular home, and don't realize that when a child is doing things out of the norm, and when you use to correct a child nowadays, persons don't do it because of several reasons, probably because of what that child parents might think or what other persons might view it to be. But the same child that neglect to correct is the same person who comes up and destabilize the community of today. So we have to understand that it won't be solved just by tomorrow by putting in certain things. And yes, we understand that immediate things can be done, for example, by providing more resources to the police, for example, and to the military. But on a general long-term basis, it has to be corrected in the homes, in the schools, and in the churches, where the general value and attitude that person used to have, it has broken down. And we have to get back to where we can go back and people can understand that it's not about me alone. Because if you realize persons aren't as tolerant as they used to be, persons get upset, peer persons get vile for the simplest of reasons nowadays. And this is because of how persons think and how persons are brought up. So we have to think about how we can get back to that system where persons can understand that each and everyone has to take care of each and everyone. And that is the way how we have to move forward.
You mentioned the church, the military, the police, but from your perspective as a member of parliament, as I mentioned, you're speaking for the others who are not here, so I guess I have to start that duty now. How can you, as an elected official, as elected representatives, what can you do to curb or to stem the increase that we're seeing in violent crimes in the parish?
Well, as an elected official now, what we have to do, as I heard me state a while ago, we have to go around in different areas and advocate to persons in communities what is desired and what must be done in order to move forward. The fact of the matter is, as an MP, the resources that will be needed immediately to fight crime, I don't have any control over that particular issue. We can lobby to the government to ensure that these things are done. And that is what we do every day in Parliament to ensure. And as you realize, yesterday I think the Prime Minister came out and spoke to reallocation in the budget to address the emergency situation that is facing us now with crime. And that is based on lobbying from different members of Parliament to let them understand that what is happening now is an emergency situation and something must be done in order to curb this crime and violence situation. But as MPs on our daily walks and daily lobbying to different citizens and different persons in communities, we have to make them understand what is necessary, let them realize what is really happening, because the fact of the matter is persons don't understand sometimes what is happening until it comes really close to home. And if you realize what is happening with crime now is coming closer and closer to each and everyone. So persons are realizing and understanding how serious of an issue it is. Because the situation now in Jamaica is the fact that unfortunately crime has become a norm. And persons have grown so accustomed to living with what is happening in and around communities. But as I said, the closer it comes to each and everyone, that is when persons realize how serious of an issue it is. And as MPs, we have to ensure that persons understand what is happening. And we have to go out there, speak on behalf of citizens. Let persons remember that the majority of Jamaicans are law-abiding citizens. The criminals are in the minority, and we cannot afford for the minority to influence the majority. It must be the majority influencing the minority.
Important issue. I have a follow-up to that, but one of the issues that I realized while speaking to each of the youth in the room is a lot of the social intervention programs are lacking. I spoke with Chantal, who I understand is looking to start something, and several other youth are raising. Tell us a little bit about your initiative and why you decided to start that initiative.
Reason why I plan to start the youth club is because when we look at my community, if I don't get the youth club up and running, I think violence and crime are going to take it over completely. Reason being, because the youths them nowadays have a different mind concept towards things. Again, I said nobody wants school no more. Both girls and boys, nobody wants school anymore. They want different things. For the girls them, going to school and getting subject is not the norm. They them not want that anymore. You get me? I say, them think having a boyfriend is it. Me want change your mind concept there. Me want them to all out. Because when you all out, you can walk with the head up high. You get me? I say? You have a lot of youths dropping out of school. Whole heap of them. And the first thing them tell you, because my son, if me not stand up strong, my son will tell me, Mommy, when me grow up, me want to be a scammer. And the reason being because he want a big house and he want a big car. And me must live in a big house and me must drive a big car and spend all of a big money. And then you can't change that from him. Because him see it and say, yeah, and him see me I work hard and me I try to make 2 ends meet. And at the end of the day, the 2 ends not meeting. You get me I say? So him I look at it and say, alright, I don't want to struggle like mommy, I don't want to struggle like my father. Yeah.
Mr. Vaz, an issue like that seems to be very widespread. Several of them tell me that you go in the communities, there is a high dropout rate of youth in school who really turn into scamming now as what they want to do. I mean, how pervasive is that problem in the parish, and how do we tackle that, really?
Well, it's a serious problem, and it can relate to what was happening in the 80s when the drug trade was really prevalent. It's just some that replaces that. And it's just the get-rich mentality that a lot of persons have. And it comes back to my earlier point where the whole value system needs to be instilled in communities. The fact of the matter is persons, as Chantal would have said, the lack of role models sometimes, the lack of successful persons who persons can relate to on a daily basis is not as sufficient as you want it to be. So persons look around their communities and see other young people who are achieving certain things, probably legally, probably immorally, and they tend to gravitate towards these things because of, as I said, the get-rich-quick mentality. But as she stated, when you are able to form relationships and form organizations in different communities that can basically teach and show persons positive ways that different things can be achieved. You show them examples of successful people who worked hard to achieve particular goals. Because you have some young people who have legitimately achieved certain things, who have been very successful and can be shown and looked upon as persons of a model type citizen. But the fact of the matter is we don't highlight these persons as often as we should. And therefore persons in different communities just look around and they look at the general population and think, no, if we go through school and do the normal things, it's going to be hard. But persons have to open up their eyes and see the opportunities that are available to them. And then we can guarantee that by doing that and by having positive role models in the lives of each and everyone, then persons will think differently. And also if you show them the real negative side to these illegal and immoral activities, then persons will understand that the risk they take to achieve this is generally not worth it.
We have a question from the floor from one of the young participants. Just stand and introduce the same name and where you're from.
Afternoon, everyone. My name is Romario. I'm from Sav. Okay, so I heard both Mr. Vaz and what's her name? Chantel saying that, oh, the youths are not doing this and they're not doing that. And the institutions are, you know, they're decaying. They're no longer functioning as they used to. But I don't hear none of you pointing out the government for not doing what it should be doing, giving the youths jobs, giving them something to think about, giving them something to aspire for. Now, when you look at the government basically serves no purpose at this point in time because we don't see any future for Westmoreland. When we look at Westmoreland, we see buildings that have been here for centuries. We do not see any movement beyond the regular things. So why are we blaming the youth fully? Why are we saying, oh, the institutions are dead when there's nothing being done by these political leaders to show us that there is something going to happen in this community? So let's not blame the youths fully for these problems. We have some big tough-toned men who are taking these little girls, police officers, political leaders, bringing them to bed and doing wrong things with them. And no one speaks about these things. But oh, let us blame these little girls because, hey, they're bad and they're this and they're that. We're not here to blame the youth today. And I'm serious about it. We're not here to blame them. Blame the big people too. Thank you.
As you mentioned that 30% of the youth in the parish that were surveyed said that they had limited social spaces. So actually move right into one of the other things that we wanted to speak about. And is a major issue for the youth in the parish. So it's not just him alone, at least another 30% of them. So there's no recreational and social space.
A major facility of university graduates. Even my friends at uni right now. When you leave uni, we're not planning to come back to Westmoreland because nothing is here. UNDEF graduates, NCU graduates, even Michael graduates who are coming to take over the teaching position aren't coming to Westmoreland. Nothing is in Westmoreland.
All right. Okay, let us address the issues now. Let us try for some answers. Mr. Vaz, firstly, there are two issues coming up. So there's the recreational space, the areas that we need, buildings, the infrastructure, and employment opportunities. We have to separate issues, We don't want to lump up all of them, all right? So let's be very clear. So the first one, the recreational space for the youth right now.
Before I get to recreational, I just wanted to clarify something. I don't think neither Chantal or myself are blaming young people for anything. Just to clarify. And I was really responding to a question she had asked. So I wasn't really answering a question. So I wasn't blaming young people for anything. And I fully understand the concerns I have, because I myself can tell you, after leaving UA, that was way in 2002. I was home for 8 months before I could secure a job. So I fully understand the situation that we're facing with regards to unemployment, not in Westmoreland, but in Jamaica as a whole, because it's a national problem that we have. And it's something that we want to ensure that we solve moving forward, because any government that comes in play, and I'm not part of the government now, but I can tell I still sympathize, and every government that is in power would want to ensure that the unemployment issue is solved across every single parish. So it's not necessarily a Westmoreland problem, but policies and programs have to be put in place to ensure that we have a broad understanding and a broad solution to what we are facing now in Jamaica. And Westmoreland on a whole, yes, the industries that are predominant down here would be tourism, and back in the days it was sugar. So what we need to understand now, we need some form of investment in the parish to ensure that some modern type of industries that going to employ a large majority of persons is put somewhere in this part of the island, and we fully understand that. So I know the frustration that you're feeling, that you don't want to come back when you leave school. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of persons do come back. And I was one who came back to ensure that I could contribute to the development of my parish. But the fact of the matter is, anywhere the opportunity is, that's where you'll be driven to go. And some persons will find opportunities here, while others will find opportunities in different parishes. So don't write it off as yet, but the fact of the matter is we have to come together, and it's a good thing we're having this type of forum, so persons can come up with different ideas, different solutions, different recommendations of how we find solutions to this problem that we're having in Jamaica as a whole with unemployment. The recreation thing that you mentioned, yes, in Westmoreland as a whole, it's a concern that a lot of young people have, as to we don't have the facilities available where persons can go hang out in the evening, persons can just chill and have that form of recreational activity. There are two spots that come to mind every time persons speak of recreation in SAV. Two spots that we have that we are looking into and need investment in order to develop. I'm not to speak of two places. I speak of the Independence Park in front of Jamaica National, and I speak of the Landala Cultural Center, which is further up the road, that is underdeveloped and has not been used in any serious way since the stage shows stop happening up there because of the Noise Abatement Act.
So you're planning to do something about that? Are there discussions?
These are two facilities that we are in discussions over. And we're really trying to get the investment, especially with the cultural center. The JCDC now is in charge of it. But there's nothing really being done to improve the facility that is there.
All right,
it's a large facility. It's a lot of the vision is here to develop it. A lot of things can be done over there. And I would love, in a forum like this, everybody who knows of that center, to really put your input in it, so we can understand the level of thinking that people have with regards to what you really want to be done, so that in the planning stages we can ensure that any ideas that you have, it can be combined and put forward to anything that we're doing moving forward.
So you want to push through some
need to
development.
push it through.
If you notice, as I mentioned, the 2 areas that I mentioned, everybody wants to start clap because they know where it's about and they want to see it fixed up. So they want to see him push it through, don't it? When they want to see him do what? Push it through. Mr. Vaz, the people want you to push it through. Chantal, you wanted to respond to something.
All right, I wasn't blaming the youth. My daughter is 13 years old and me tell her have a mind of your own. So no big great one man can't carry her go do it. She unless them go draw away and rape her. She is 13 years old, she's supposed to have a mind of her own. You get me I say? So no big great one man can't carry her away, go draw her, go do nothing unless she want it. She want it, so them go bring her. My son is 11, I'm telling him be a leader, not a follower. Nobody not a leader to go do nothing what you don't want to do. Next thing, Westmoreland is a Kingston, is the first city then. A lot of job employment is there than here. Jamar here, my crime go. Him come down because he want a teacher job here. Him not go stay at town to get teacher job because school there Westmoreland. They get me I say, Jamar live in a one community where school dropouts and all him something, but him decide in mind say him not drop out of school. Him mother have much pitney and him, if nobody make him mother proud, him must make him mother proud. And that is the concept the youth them must have.
Right. Thanks. Mikhail, you had your hand up as well, but just to quickly say something in his defense though, Chantal. Is there no truth? Is there no merit to what he's saying though? Because he's raising critical issues about institutions, facilities, the infrastructure here, and a very real issue of sexual grooming. That's the official term that we're talking about is called, where you have these big men in high positions and so in the pastors, there's a pastor right now in front of the court for a similar issue, and it's a young girl, probably 2 years older than your daughter. He's also accused of impregnating another one. So there may be issues that really and truly are there. So while it may not affect you personally, and you can say you train your daughter, what we need in Jamaica though is perhaps more parents like you, Chantal, to teach the youth them.
It's a grief for money, and that is the problem. These girls, them have enough money, and then see the high life and want it. Just like in the boys. They scam in life and they want to pass money. So the girls, them see the high life and they want the high life, and land here.
1 second, Shanta. We just have some youth coming. Just allow them to settle down so we can have a good focus. I hear the discussions and the whispers starting right now. If I have a separate viewpoint, if you think a little bit differently from Chantal, I want you to express your views. I hear some whispers over here. I soon come to you. Mikhail, I want you mention a point, but I want you to respond and say what you think, all right? So remember, and promise me, you're going to talk up. Mikhail.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Michael Ellis. I represent the National Youth Service as the outgoing ambassador for the parish. I have been to many youth forums like this, and I always hear the talk. One, I want to address his issue. For one, I work with the Ministry of Health as a community health aide, so I work on the ground for the Ministry of Health, so I'm in the communities. So I've seen where youth, you will sit with them and you will talk and you will say, all right, listen, I know of the National Youth Service Summer Employment Program. I have forms. I can take them to you at your house. And I'm speaking from experience. I take them there and I sit with them and ensure that the form is filled out properly. And I'll say to them, all right, I'll take your particulars and I'll go to the office and photocopy them for you. So all right, so I don't have whole day, so I bring the forms and I leave them and I said, all right, sorry, I'll pick them up tomorrow. Right? I go there tomorrow, it not ready. I go there, them either can't find the birth certificate, them not have no ID, them not have no TRN, And I'm talking about 18, 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds. They don't have ID, they don't have TRN. What we have to look on as it relates to job is that we have young people who are employable and we have some who are unemployable. Meaning them not have no skill and them don't have any education, therefore them can't get a job. So what I would want to see is...
Before you mention what you would want to see, as a youth ambassador, as the National Youth Ambassador for the parish, the outgoing one, what are some of the things that you have done to further that cause, to improve some of those issues that you mentioned?
All right. While I was on the Westmoreland Parish Youth Council Board, that's under the then National Center for Youth Development, and everyone know where the Youth Information Center is, that is currently closed. That's at Landilo Phase 1, right? It's currently closed because of security issues and also for renovation, right? While I was on the board, what we used to do, we would visit different youth organizations and also help in the youth development in those areas. So like the Grotto CBC, where we normally go to, right? That's one of them that we normally assist and assist the youth in finding...
When it's a Grotto CBC, what does that mean?
CDC, that's a community-based organization of the Grotto community, right? So they have really a strong CBC. So what we do, we get persons from different organizations, whether it be NYS, NIS, Heart Trust, and they come in and they talk to the youth and get them on programs so that they get involved in programs so that when they finish Heart Trust, they can get a job somewhere. So they know have a skill. Right. What I'm saying is that there are a lot of young people who them just sit down and them don't want anything. Opportunity is just not going to come present itself to you like this, right? The mentality of Westmoreland young people is the handout mentality. It is that I take the forms to these young people and I tell you, me have to Jamaican terms, pardon my language, me have to kiss them ass. Forgive me about the form for go to NYS. You understand what I'm saying? So is that the opportunities, they are there, right? And I didn't grow up in an upscale community. I grew up right there, so Barracks Road, where them call Gully Banks, right? And I run for the opportunity. I wasn't the brightest in high school, but I ensured that I was a student councillor. So I affiliate myself with other persons, right?
All right. So good. You say you give us a good background now. You get a, how to call in Jamaica, big foul in this boy, whatever, we're going with the youth them now. But we know, we're there and we're not there for necessarily just criticize. We're there now for build up and for lift up and for fix things.
Right.
One of the things you started by saying is one of the things you'd want to see done now.
What I would want
we have other persons that want to get respect from.
What I would want to see is that I believe that the training centers for heart they're too far apart. Right? We don't have anyone that is really central. Right? So persons have to travel all the way to Petersfield or Culloden, which is White House, or Seaford Town. That is really far. You understand?
I said go, youths? I said go?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk up you, Mr. Talk up you.
The other thing is, and this is for Mr. Vaz.
Wait, 1 second. He wants to respond to that first point. So we're getting the issues out. I love how everybody excited and everybody focused. Make sure you raise your hand if you have a question. You have a question. He had a question as well, and the two persons beside you. So we have all of you coming to you. So we must have to hurry up here, Mr. Vaz.
It's just for information purposes. The point to me is a fact, and it's something we're trying to address. As a member of parliament, we looked into it and we decided that we want to have community centers. The community centers that exist, we want to transform them to educational centers. We're starting with the one in Hatfield, where we just recently installed solar panels on it, where we got some assistance from the Yellowbird Foundation in Canada. So we installed solar panels, which will, of course, reduce electricity bill. This computer lab should be put in this week. And we plan to start that center. We're hoping to start it by September, which will be an additional option because we have already engaged Heart, and Heart has decided to assist us with it. So the idea is to have an additional option for Heart. So anybody who comes there will achieve the same level of certification as if you would go to White House or you go to Petersfield. So that is something we're planning to do.
Okay.
All right.
Good stuff. Before you respond, will that be free for persons to use?
It will be at a subsidized cost and cheaper than Petersfield and White House. As I said, the main driver of the cost is the electricity. And the fact that we got the solar panels free,
Right.
this is something that will ensure that the costs will be very low. We haven't decided on what it will be yet,
Yes.
but it will be very affordable for everybody, and as I said, cheaper than the other two that are existing as we speak.
Stick a pin right there. I was speaking to a youth earlier, not very certain who was saying like a computer lab or a resource center is closed. Which resource center is?
I said it.
You were the one to make
I mentioned it already.
Okay. Which one is that? Which one is closed?
The Youth Information Center,
Where is that?
Land Island Road.
What can be done about that?
Well, as he said, it has been closed for renovation and security reasons. I've spoken to Floyd, the
Green
State Minister,
of Education.
with regards to it, and he assured that in short order it will be reopened because I had concerns over it also. And I think that center was underutilized while it was open. A lot of persons weren't even aware
Of the center.
that the center was there, even though it was there for quite a while. I had persons who live in the community where the center is, who don't even know there's a center they can go and access the computer lab free.
Hold on, Mr.
So it's
Vaz.
something we have to advertise more,
Wha-
and it's something also I think, as I always state, in any community center, any center island-wide, if you don't have a sustained program in it, it will not work. And that is why we engage hard to ensure that any centers we are opening in the future, you have to have a sustained program where people go there every day in order for it to work. Because if you just have a community center like that with a lab, it's either going to be vandalized or underutilized. So we have to look at how we do things moving forward in a different way.
You touch on another issue that we're going to come to a little later, which is the awareness. A lot of the youth don't know about some of these things, and so but I'm not going to touch it just yet. You jump in the gun, but we'll soon come to you. But I love how the issues that come up. Love how no respond. Your final point now, Mr. Ellis.
Thanks much, because Mr. Voss raised the point that I was going to say, that I have seen the Hatfield one, and I was hoping that others can be renovated as well. So you already touched the point.
All right. Okay. The youth in the pink shirt beside. Yes. Just introduce yourself. Stand where you're from.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Tomlinson from Farmpen, near to Mr. Vaz. What I am currently talking about now is currently the issue that Chantel and the young man from Sav raised, and more focusing on Chantel's point that youths are not interested in schools no more. This is it, that the youths are no longer interested in their own development. They are now having the get-rich mentality, as Mr. Vaz said. And for us to go back to the drawing board, it will start in the home. If we don't start in the homes, then we'll still have this brain drain thing that the country is suffering from. There is no employment in the country. In Jamaica, there is no employment. Right? And the country is now suffering from brain drain. So unless we go back to the home values and create more job employment, then we'll continue suffering from this, and the youths will, then the country will die, because all the youths are planning to leave for overseas. See, persons don't even want to come back to Westmoreland. So we need to create more employment for the youth.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Beside you, you had a quick point as well.
Okay, my name is Jovian Brown. I am from Robbinsville District. I have seen some issues within my community and within other communities of Westmoreland. This is the fact that a lot of young people with the get-rich-quick mentality, but even some of them, due to financial constraints and other problems, they are not able to go to school and thus not gaining skills and such. I have always wanted to start a youth center within my community, regardless of the help of my member of parliament or not, because, yes.
Have you started that center?
Yes, as a member of the Beast and Spring Community Development Commission.
So say it slowly. Come again. So it's a big thing. This, I want to make sure you say it clearly.
As a member of the Beast and Spring Community Development Commission, we have started initiatives to start this and such. We have also started a talent competition within the community called the Beast and Spring Got Talent Competition, where we have had entrance. When my father started that, we have had entrance and had presently showcasing your talent for a cash prize and such, so that they can, after this, they garner opportunities to go into JCDC region and so on.
So you do something, you now wait for nobody.
Yes.
Give him a round of applause, man. A big thing that, man. So, note well, one of the critical things that him say, him now wait upon the MP, him now wait upon nobody. This is where?
This east, that's not central.
No, I'm not point. I'm now wait upon the MP for the area. Sorry, is it because I must say I represent everybody now. You take it on for yourself, Mr. Vaz. Careful. So importantly, youths, remember, so it is all well and good to come here and say, okay, this and that, and the representative now do this, and them now do that, and we don't know what going on. But it is very important that you start your own advocacy. And one of the big things that this initiative is doing, that is the Talk Up Youth initiative, which is a youth empowerment through dialogue, is to teach you and let you know that that is one of your purpose. So you know your constitutional rights. So you have the right to actually start an organization, you get it registered, and then you seek funding. So what I advise to you now, Ms. Joanne? Javane, is to also, when you want assistance, so you can write to them. So you write with a stronger, your name of more power to it. When you write and say, okay, you're not just saying my name is Joanne and I want to do this. You're saying I am Joanne, a member of this organization. We have done this in the past and we want this support to go forward. So you have to start the process. All right, remember, you have to do what? You have to do what? Yeah, man, enough to talk.
Their community doing is an example always to look at now. As a former employee of the Social Development Commission, because it was my first job after school, I'm very familiar with that community and the things that they have done at Beast and Spring.
Beast and Spring.
And it's a community to look at, and
it's a model
community with regards to what they have done, what they have achieved through that same grant funding thing.
Right.
And they have always applied to different funding agencies, and they have gotten a lot of benefits through these different sources outside of government.
Right.
And as I said, it's a community that is always looked upon and used as example for different communities in Westmoreland.
Anybody else in here from Beast and Spring? Just you alone from Beast and Spring here? I say alone, Richard. So give him another round of applause. Again, the only member here. I guess we need to. You have another point you want to make? Quickly, because we have a few other persons.
I was just saying that young people should also see the initiative that they would want to do. A lot of persons are complaining about there are no opportunities and such. As a young person, I always seek opportunities and I want to start my own thing. For example, I have see the opportunity of starting my own business within the vicinity of White House. I have seen the opportunity of starting some farms and such.
What kind of business?
A laundromat within the White House vicinity. I have done a convenience.
Well, go slowly. You have a lot of things to say. I can see it, man. But we'll take our time and we'll get them out. So, what kind of business?
A laundromat within the White House vicinity. I have done a convenience sampling with the White House members, and I've seen that this will be the best and most required thing within the community, and that the person within the community would like to support this business.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. Give me start your own business. Start coming to club. Are big things, that man. Big things, big things. Remember, I don't have to talk them things. If you talk it, you know. And what we have to do now is learn from his example, learn from the example of his community, as Mr. Vaz mentioned. Another issue that we're moving on to, but before we move on to this, I want to take one more question from the floor. There are at least two. You want to say something? I'm here from a lot of males so far, only one female. I want to hear from another female first. Yeah, I want to hear from this young lady. This young lady. And we need to hear from the males. We're hearing from them, and we're going to continue. So you, and you first. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Just tell us your name and where you're from. What's the issue?
My name is Shanae White, and I'm from the Savannah Lamar community. Chantel, right?
Chantel,
on
you
your
wake up a businessman.
On your point, I don't completely disagree, but however, there are some young girls. I'm 16. Young girls in my age group they not saying are parents of the unemployment of parents, right? So they have to go out and do things like the lack of what they want or what they need. Like they don't got books, they don't got this, they don't got that. So they have to go out and get those things from the big men or stuff, right? Some of them now will look into themselves and say, no, all right, I'm getting money and let me go back to school. But however, some of them are saying, no, I'm not going to school because, you know, look how much money me I make, me no need to go to school and thing, So I agree and I also disagree because there are some of them that's really lacking. The parents don't have it and they want to go out there because they have it.
Hold a second. They're on the matter of so the need for education. So essentially you're saying some of them are doing it because to go to school, essentially, educational purposes. Mr. Vaz, explain to them the whole concept of the community development fund as a CDF funds and how youth can access educational grant. I think that's right across all 14 parishes in terms of that. I don't think many of them are aware of that. How many of you here are aware of the community development fund? By a show of hands. We don't even have 6 persons, good or 5. So a lot of them. So there's a community development fund. Mr. Vaz is going to quickly tell you about that.
Is a constituency
development
fund. And this is the only fund that is actually guaranteed to each member of parliament each year. But to explain the education part of it, each member of parliament can do different programs with this amount of money. We get $20 million each year for the constituency development fund. But this is what you do, use to do everything. So for example, education, sports, housing, welfare. So when you really look at it, it's a small amount of money in the context of what you need to do. In central Westmoreland, we contribute 20% of this money to education, which would be $4 million. We put to education every year. But our education program is broken down into 3 different parts. One, we have a section for tertiary level students where persons can apply. Well, persons who are here by the last week of June, we have forms available at the office where tertiary students will apply, and we have an interview segment where, and we choose, last year we assisted 52 tertiary students with grants to go back to school. Also, we assist the secondary level students with a small voucher where this voucher can be used to purchase books or uniform, anything that is most in need for the particular person. And we also have a treat where we assist the primary school students with items to go back to school. So in the context of the whole thing, the $4 million, to be honest with you, is only a drop in the bucket. Because with the amount of persons in the constituency who require this level of assistance, we can only assist each person with a small amount of money each particular year. But it's still something that the person never had before. So you have to look at it in that type of light.
Mr. Vaz.
But persons who are interested, you'll have to come to the constituency office and make us aware that you are in this situation and you want this level of assistance. Because the fact of the matter is, as someone stated earlier, if you want something, you have to go and try to find it. Because there's no way I can stay at my office or in the community and know everybody who going to have this need. So it's persons who come and let you know they have the need are the ones who going to end up benefiting from this particular program.
But importantly, Mr. Vaz, a big issue that we can't ignore is the awareness. Did you know about this fund? Did you know about the fund firstly? Yes. Do you know about the fund, everybody? Yes. So you have a mixture. Some know, some don't know. And then what may happen as a result of something like this is the whole idea of the concept of nepotism. So because somebody know the MP, and not necessarily speaking about you, of course not, the MP or the friends with the MP or the councillor who know the MP and whatever, them and for them uncle and nephew and niece can come and seek the funding. How do we improve on the awareness therefore? Because these are youth clearly who are interested in furthering themselves. So this is probably the best of the lot in Westmoreland. That's very frank.
Well,
and they don't know.
With regards to communication, we're trying different ways of how to communicate with our constituents. I don't know how many persons in here listen to my radio program that we have every second Sunday on Vibes FM. Because that is something we implemented in our constituency, where Vibes are community station, everybody, most persons in the Westmoreland can access that station. And every second Sunday, we have a program named Your MP Live on Vibes FM, where persons can call in, speak to me, and I also make persons aware of everything that we are doing in the constituency. So if you haven't been listening to it before, I'm asking you to listen to it moving forward. It's every second Sunday between 3 and 4 on Vibes FM. Because we understand that persons not necessarily going to know what is happening. You have to put the information out there. And this is another avenue, and that we have to launch the initiative, Youth for Chat, where persons can understand what is happening. I'm asking each and everybody who is here.
Say that again. You have to launch the initiative what?
No, I have to laud the initiative that you guys have had here.
What?
Youth for Chat.
Because, give a big round of applause, man. Youth for Chat, man. And if you say to who you know, we are trying
so persons can know what is happening. I'm asking each and everybody who came today. So when you go home and you go in your community to let persons know what we discussed today, so the word can continue to spread out there. And as he said, the communication has to be out there, and we're trying every way and means possible for persons to know what we are doing in our constituency, because transparency is key, and we need to ensure that persons understand what we're doing, because if you don't understand, then that is where the problem comes in, and if you don't know, that is where the problem comes in again. And we're trying to ensure that everybody is on the same level playing field moving forward, and that is what we're aspiring for.
All right, now, Mr. Vaz, I'm going to tackle you now. Serious thing this. Hold on, Chantal. I just want to tackle Mr. Vaz right, I say no. Set up. You ready? Yeah. Talk up, you, Mr. Effie. Talk up, you. Mr. Vaz, you can teach other MP them something like this to come along with the favor. Invite them on the program to make the youth them hear about them and talk about the thing them too. You say I represent them, so you have to talk for them, and you take it on, so I'm going to put it to you because them not there. I am putting it to you. Well, the youths of Westmoreland, would you want him to invite the other members of parliament to make themselves available on a community radio station at least twice per month? And councillors. Yeah, so the youth them are asking now, Mr. Vaz, get them. Can you get them? What will you do to get them?
What will I do to get them to have community radio program? That is a specific question.
Or if you come on your own and make themselves available, that's the basic thing. The availability, the awareness, then don't know.
Well, I can speak, to be honest with you. I know that Dr. McNeil from Western Westmoreland has approached me after hearing of the radio program that we're doing. And he has been discussing the idea with his executive. It's something that Western Westmoreland seems that they'll be doing in short order, based on information that I have. But I will move forward from today and follow it up based on the request of the young persons in Westmoreland, and also speak to Luther with regards to that also.
Excellent. Give Mr. Vaz a round of applause, because Mr. Vaz representing me now. Another of the important issues is actually is you have to write to them as well. Write letters, man. Write to them and pressure them. Continue and speak to them. I see Marilyn saying something. I soon quickly come to Marilyn, and a lot of persons have some. We have enough issues to touch now because we don't touch the bushing and the infrastructure fully yet. But we're taking the next question from the floor. This young man wants to ask. The name and where you're from?
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Davian Hemmings. I am one of the 2 youth parliamentarians for the parish. I sweeping right across the board. I heard you, the young man, I believe it is based on the value system, and this young lady, it's based on your value system. When I was going to Mannings, I had it pretty much rough at one point. There were times where it seems as if, all right, this will be my last week going to school. I had the negative influence of, doing something of the sort that will not benefit me the way it had benefit, or the pathway that I could take the left, which would have been the wrong road, and it wouldn't have benefited me as how it would have benefited me. No. So it goes back to your value system. How do you view life? Is it that you're going to live today with false hair and long nails and all these things, or you're going to work with a dry hair until you can afford to cream your hair and do whatsoever?
Youth for chat?
Youth for chat, man.
Youth for chat? Youth for chat? Talk up, you, Mr. Effie.
I I also endorse Mr. Brown's initiative of being a leader and starting something for yourself. Too many times we sit, and as Mr. Ellis has mentioned, Westmoreland Youth is all about the handout. Mr. Vasa could come to me $2,000 this weekend and that's it. I'm sure about this at 2,000. But I was speaking to Sean earlier and she was saying that if you're sure that you have the mindset and you have the willpower to move forward, start with what you have. It could be $5 you have, start it. Save it today, save the next $5 tomorrow, and then you buy 2 bag juice and sell your friend one for $20 and you continue it. That's a business startup. I was speaking with Mr. Tomlinson, and we are in the process of partnering for some agricultural development within our community. It is something that we want to do for Westmoreland. We know of the Baba Roots factory that was
Hold a second. Who is
closed
Mr.
down.
Tomlinson?
Mr. Tomlinson.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Be entrepreneurs there, man. A whole heap of entrepreneurs. So that make it look like no entrepreneurial youth, no the Westmoreland, no they are not do things and not organize things. Talk, which community is this now?
I am from Granger, but I work strongly with the Landala Youth and Cultural Community Club.
Granger.
Granger.
And what agricultural product is it from Granger now? Because Granger known for a particular. What's the product? What
We're
is
talking about. We're talking about livestock farming here now.
Livestock.
Livestock farming.
Clarify the issues and flesh them out. Okay, continue. I remember there's a move as well. There's a decriminalization has
yes,
gone.
I am aware.
They have the CLA now, which is the licensing authority. So you can get yourself sorted out. Whatever it is.
But currently we're looking at livestock farming. Mr. Brown mentioned about starting initiative and starting community. The Landala Cultural Community Club, it just started back. I'm a part of that team, and what we are looking forward now is having our own back to school retreat for our community. We have 50 bags. We have 50 bags now. We have the forms to be filled out and handed to SDC to get our club registered so we can seek funding. But we are we're starting the initiative. It's just a few young people like myself. I saw Miss Gail walking in. She's a part of the movement as well. It is just young people coming together and say, all right, I see where Daniel is going down the wrong road and probably Daniel is not able to move in the right way based on the resources that she has. So we are coming together as a group and say, all right, Daniel, instead of using the $250, you have to think about buying a bag. Here's a bag, here's a book, here's some socks. Get yourself ready. Use that $250 and think about getting uniform to go back to school. We also are thinking about mentorship programs where we will have...
Wait. What's your name? What's your name?
My name is Davian Hemmings.
How old are you, Davian?
I am 20 years old.
Davian at 20 and Davian do so much. Give Davian a round of applause, no man. All right. Talk up you, Mr. Fee. Final point, Davian. We have to move on. Yeah.
Just to summarize, it goes back to you and your value system, what you believe in. If you believe that the hype life on the left is the right way, it is not the right way. There is always another road which is a bit hard. It is not as fast as it seems, but it provides true reward, real reward that at the end of the day, you will feel accomplished and you will feel proud.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks for that. Thanks for that. All right. So this young man has just stand, introduce yourself, where you're from. Quickly.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl, and I've been wanting to talk for quite some time now. So
yeah,
forgive me if I don't touch all the topics that I wanted to. Right. So I heard Chantel speaking about telling her daughter that she should be a leader and not to follow. Well, as a child, I understand. Well, I mean, I'm not a child anymore, but growing up, it was the biggest pain for me to hear my mother tell me that, to hear my father tell me that. Because you lead from the front, and in order to lead, you have to know how to lead. You have to follow somebody, right? And that's what we're doing. Like, our parents have 0 CXC subjects, 0 qualifications. I have 15 subjects. My father, I have probably 3 times what both my parents have together, right? And that's sad. because they request so much from us. They request that we get a 90 average at school, right? There's this pressure saying, hey, don't pierce your ears, don't sag your pants, don't, right? There are so many don'ts and not many do's. We don't get the room to push ourselves in the way that we feel comfortable, right? We are following naturally. We are people, and that's what we do. It's the reason why we know that we want to be dentists, doctors, lawyers, because we've seen somebody done it, right? It is the reason why we do anything at all.
Carl, are you a part of any youth group presently?
Well, I work with the NYS.
The NYS?
Yeah.
So you're familiar with Mikhail?
No, I'm not. I'm not from Westmoreland. So since I've gotten down here, then I've started working with them.
So since you come down here, you start work with the NYS?
Yeah.
How long have you been here?
Since the beginning of June.
And you get involved already?
Yes, I
This is
am.
what the second week again. Give me a round of applause now. So this is what we want, you know. You have to get involved to get the ball rolling, to get things going. Make a final point.
Right, and as I'm just asking parents to have an open mind when it comes to children, where we are extremely impressionable, right? And we need that sort of forum, we need that sort of comfort in order to express ourselves in a way which is comfortable to us, right? Because we aren't the same as our parents. We're so far from it. The music we listen to, our parents don't understand it, right? And it's not that it's foolishness, because we see the intelligence behind it, right? Because we do, right? Exactly.
Okay.
We see the intelligence behind it, and that is showing that we have growth and we have the potential, we have the capacity to understand, right? This is literature. Music is literature, right? I'm a literature student, I'm a speaker, right? I'm not a scientist. I'm a literature student, so I understand music, I interpret music. I read a lot of books. That you have to open yourself. And parents are a big part of that restriction. That's the reason why we have so many gunmen, so many killers, because they're narrow-minded. They don't understand what it is to matriculate through intelligence. Right? With intelligence, I understand that it doesn't make sense to fight every day, to steal, because I see a better path. I understand, and it's starting from the foundation. I've been to high schools working, and at the grade 9 level, people cannot read a sentence. I mean, youth empowerment through dialogue. People cannot have a conversation at the grade 9 level. That is terrible. And I'm telling you about Kingston. I'm from Kingston, and I couldn't get a job in Kingston. I've left school 3 years now.
Carl,
right?
Jemar has a point as well. You mentioned something, and Jemar wanted to add to that quickly. So, Jemar,
Yeah, sure.
go ahead. Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I recently completed my studies at the Michael University College, so technically I'm a trained teacher. However, I disagree with you, because the home is the first agent of socialization. And in that, you have to have rules and regulations so as to teach the child how to function in society. So you cannot say that the parents, they have so many restrictions, and your parents, what the parents sometimes, if your parent doesn't have any qualification and they want you to have the qualification, they want the best for you. And let me say this, not every student will go to a university. However, as parents and as teachers, as educators, what I would like is for us to create the best version of our children, basically. So if it is that you're going to be a taxi driver, for name's sake, you're going to drive that taxi carefully. You're going to have the best customer service there is. So there has to be some form of restriction, because at the end of the day, you are a child and you're obligated to your parent.
Okay, so parents need to play them role essentially. Okay, all right. Carl, I want to say something. Just respond quickly, because we have to move on.
I understand that completely, and that's fair, right? But what I'm trying to get at is that restrictions are natural. We have laws, we have rules, we have regulations, we are human beings. This is the earth that we live on, right?
Okay.
Certain things are unfathomable when you think about it. Certain restrictions, they are just backward, right? I know that we're supposed to, all right, they shun the type, we listen to Alkaline, right? Alkaline was an ardent graduate. He went to the same primary school that I did, which was micro-practicing, so I knew him growing up, right? I knew Erlan, right? Not Alkaline, I knew Erlan, and he was an intellect. And this is what, and
What's the
exactly,
point
he's
that
an
you're making?
intellect,
What's
right?
the exact point that you're trying
His
to make?
expression is seen as negative, as it is right now.
So
But
No, the
outside of him,
interpretation.
the interpretation, right? Which and interpretation is based on person on
Alright,
person
Carl,
from person to person,
Carl, we have to move on. But I just want outside of Alkaline, what's the general, what's that one point that you want all of us to understand? I want you to get that point that you're saying.
I would like our leaders, our parents, our whoever is above us, the authority, to have a more open mind to what youth are experiencing.
Oh,
What
so
youth
some of
have to
them
go
too
through.
backward, them need to be modern now, understand the new days, the nowadays thing them
Precisely.
essentially. Okay, because
Precisely.
nowadays thing are just foolishness. You ain't gonna just say that, man, Carl, man. You wanted to respond to what Carl was saying. What's the name where you're from?
Hi everyone. I'm Daniel. Calm down. All right, I'm Daniela Woodbine, the second of the 2 youth parliamentarians in here for Jamaica. But anyways, moving along. In response to what you're saying, Carl, and you picked an example, which I think you should have choose a better one, to be honest. Because that same artist that you chose is the same one who's saying because a man do something where, you know, like if you bust a Glock in him head. No, I don't see how you don't see that as being negative, because that is somebody who is promoting violence, which is causing so many controversy and so many problems in our society. So I think you should have chose a better example. But anyways, to what I wanted to say. I'm here not to really say the issues, but I'm here to provide some solutions. Because I don't think it makes sense you can raise an issue and you don't really have anything to contribute or to say anything to fix the problem. Not true? Not true? Talk Up Youth? Yeah, all right. So, okay. I heard Davian mention something about a mentorship program. And I can personally speak of how that really helps. I am a student of Belmont Academy, and we started 3 mentorship programs there. We have BOM, which is Boys on a Mission. We have Girls Empowered for the Mission movement, which was started by myself and some other young ladies. And also we have the Belmont Academy Academic Mentorship Program. Now, I don't know how many of us have read the news or have read the paper, watched the news or read the paper, but currently Belmont Academy is ranked 13 as an Ivy League school in Jamaica, and that is because of our academic mentorship program. Now, what we do in our academic mentorship program is that we have students helping students, and in the way how our world is running with the selfie thing and everybody is all about self, it's all about me, not about you. This is something that we saw students staying at least 1 hour from Monday to Wednesday with students, with their own peers, and helping them with their work, helping them with their homework that they got. That they know that when they go home, mommy and daddy know that they have to help me with it. And furthermore, if they're even there, they don't understand this maths and this English when me I deal with and this social studies and this geography, right? So we had students helping students on at hour after each school day, Mondays to Wednesdays, and also even coming on Saturdays to teach classes.
Where?
Belmont Academy.
Okay.
The school were up there, so much people don't recognize because it's in a bush. Yeah.
You touch on it. I'm going to go to that very, very point next, you know. Debushing. I come in here, Mr. Valdas. The mayor not here, so you have to take the question. But, remind me your name, please?
Daniela Woodbine.
Miss Woodbine, or Daniela. How do we replicate, or for just a short word, copy what you have at Belmont Academy to some of the other schools in Westmoreland? Because one of the issues that was mentioned to me, a young man who was beside Chantal earlier, saying that the youth them are drop out of school now, figure turn scam up. Yes. But yet you're here telling me that you have this wonderful program after school, and the youth them not selfish, and all of them narcissistic, right, and I take selfie and all them things, and them I help them other one. How we expand a program like that?
Well, at the same time, while we have our issues with the program, because you have problems with the program, it isn't perfect. But what we do is that we allow students themselves who see the need and want to volunteer for themselves. At one point, we try to do this kind of stipend thing where we kind of maybe give them a little money or give them some advantage. Like, for example, because when we started the academic mentorship program, the persons who are going to be mentors for the next school year, you wouldn't pay a school fee. So if you volunteer to be a mentor, to mentor other students, and you'd be assigned like 2 or 3 students to mentor each year. And what they would do is that, okay, allow you to not pay a school year, or you'd get some advantage somehow. So what we did is that we just allowed students to put it to students, saw what they thought of it, and students volunteered themselves. As youth mayor, I hope to be writing to the other high schools in Westmoreland, the other other 7 high schools, in Westmoreland see if they can come on board and start programs like these. Sorry.
Mr. Vaz, I want to make sure you don't throw no full support behind programs like these, All right. And you want to say a quick point before we move on? We have to touch the issue of debushing.
Just to add to what Miss Woodbine just said, right? The change begins with you, young people, right? And the first step towards development, we need to positively conquer ourselves. And if each one of us is here who is a part of a youth club, right? The reason why we don't have any councillors or we don't have the members of parliament, we're not active as youths in the parish. So if each one of us join or form a youth club, then that's a first step towards development. Then we can have the Women in Action Society coming on board to empower the young ladies. We have, well, I am a part of a gentleman fraternity at the Michael. And if I cannot walk door to door in the communities to empower our males, we have to have clubs. So you have to join a club, you have to form a club to be fully represented. So the change begins with you.
Let me see a show of hands of youth here who are not a part of any club or anything like that right now in a community or in the parish, who are not a part of any club. All right, so the majority of you are a part of clubs. The few who are here who are not a part of clubs, you hear the message, you hear what you need to do. You can no longer sit back and not do anything. You have to get yourself involved and be a part of something. All right? We only have 15 minutes to go. We have several more issues we have to touch. Your final point quickly now.
And I can even say that there's a young lady right here from Belmont Academy who is a part of GEM, and she can even testify to, the things that we do in GEM. But another suggestion, well, yes, it is a suggestion, but Mr. Vaz, I heard you speak of my community, and I saw the renovations you did on my community center. I'm very grateful, by the way. But I'd like your help for this summer. Specifically, I want to put on a summer camp, for the young people there, especially those who are going to be going into high school because they need help in moving from primary school into high school. So I want to have that camp. So I don't know how you can work that out for me.
So you can help her.
A 2-week camp, for the young persons. All right, no problem. So yes, that's all I have to say.
Okay, all right. So Mr. Vaz, you're going to talk to her afterwards. You're going to find a way to help her. Looking around, just look outside right now. You see a whole heap of bush already. Is Kayla Hart here? Kayla Hart? Okay, so Kayla Hart, she's not here. Anybody knows Kayla Hart? Yes? One of the questions she raised, she was one of our youth volunteers yesterday. She was trained as an advocate, a part of 33 that was trained by Up Yout. And one of the issues that she raises is that sections of her community is in need of debushing and additional street lights. She says that she has to walk in areas that are heavily bushed to get home from school, and she's concerned about her safety due to rising crime. It is not the only area in the parish, I think, that is in need of debushing. And while the youth can do so much and no more by forming groups and stuff like that, the issues now, the state agencies now, perhaps the municipal corporation and members of parliament like yourself, debushing and street lights. How do you respond to these concerns, the very real concerns that we have?
Well, with regards to streetlights, first and foremost, up to recently, we have written to the Minister of Local Government outlining all the areas we have in central Westmoreland that are in need of streetlights. This letter was written, the last correspondence was over 6 months ago. And what the minister told me that I was have to hold on a bit until they were able to find some resources to do it. There's some ongoing issue with the JPS and the government with regards to some payments, and I don't know if that is affecting what is happening with regards to the servicing of these lights. But we haven't gotten any street lights in central Westmoreland for quite a while now. But as I said, the role of the MP is to lobby to try to get these things done, and that is being done as we speak. With regards to debushing, is a constant issue we have, and just recently though, I can say the NAA has given each constituency $1 million to do bushing and drain cleaning. In the scheme of things, it's a little bit of money, but we'll be able to do some farmer work starting in the next couple of weeks. We actually got that letter last week. So I can see some work will be done. I'm not sure which community this young lady is from. It's from Farmpen. She lives on the main or inside.
You know, Matana, wherever the
Why
bush
I
them, they
ask
need
is
to
because
cut
the
to get cut.
NAA, why I ask is because each agency is responsible for different things. So the NAA, which I refer to with regards to this money we're getting, is on the main roads. The National Works Agency is responsible for the main roads. So this money I just referred to will be used to bush areas on the main. The interior areas would be the responsibility now of the parish council, where the councillors who represent each division now will, through the parish council, get money through their allocation to deal with stuff like that. But those who don't necessarily be the responsibility of the member of parliament with regards to the debushing of those areas. But as I just mentioned, the money that I just mentioned we're getting would be to debush some of the main roads. But all won't be done. And the fact of the matter is, the issue we're having is that we never get the amount of resources required to do all the debushing we need to do at the same time. So for example, this money we get now, by the time we get another allocation, these areas that we bush now would be in need of bushing again, and there are some areas we didn't get to touch this time that will be priority when moving forward for the next time. So there's always something that needs to be done. And unfortunately, the 800 million debushing, I wasn't informed of it at the time when it was done.
No, Mr.
So
Wah.
no community in my era, I was not engaged to ensure that I put communities that are of priority on that particular program. And that is the only thing I can say of that particular program. So anybody who would have been familiar and had questions about that 800 million debushing, I wasn't engaged in that process, so I can't speak to it.
Okay, so you're throwing the government under the bus for that controversial 800 million debushing program, I see. There's a question, does it relate to this particular issue? Okay, go ahead.
All right, I was just saying that like community members can also take the initiative to start the debushing process and to start like patching off the roads. Because within my community, there are volunteer groups that have started debushing and cutting up trees and so on. And
You sure not make up them some, yeah? This is so? Who say yes? Come in if you verify if them, because this sound too unreal, you know, like it's a perfect community you come from. Where all of them, it's true? Okay, continue.
Because for several years we have been trying to ask our MP for initiatives to start patching off the roads and such, and because he hasn't shown no such initiative.
Who is the MP?
Uta Buchanan.
Oh. Talk up you, Mr. Fee. Talk up you, Mr. Fee, talk up. All right. As I mentioned that, the important issue that the association tell for about 5 minutes now coming to you, all right, I promise. You see, we have to link the issues in. I want to separate them. The other issue is voter apathy, as I mentioned, that about your member of parliament for how many years. And I'm not just talking about Mr. Buchanan or anybody in particular. And it's not just Westmoreland, no, this is a general thing. One of the things that we're finding is that in the last general election one and then the local government election, the voter turnout was the lowest, one of the lowest of years in Jamaica. And then now, in Westmoreland, sadly, this is a bad part of Westmoreland now, 30%, only 30% of Westmoreland youth, and this is a survey that was done, commissioned by Talk Up Youth in this parish, in entire Jamaica, but the results for this parish, only 30% of the youth in the parish knew where they could get registered to vote. Only 30%. This is the lowest in all 14 parishes, yes. Now, further to that, it is saying that only 18.5% of the sample that was questioned, they don't question every single body in the parish, it's question who they can get. Only 18% of that amount were registered to vote. And 60% of that amount, only 60% of that amount ever voted. Now, why am I saying all of this to you? I'm saying that for those of us who 18 and over and who near to turn 18, and by the time a next general election come, instead of us coming here to have a next town hall meeting like this and you cuss your MP again and say, boy, the man now do nothing, you have the chance to go out and make a difference and vote in somebody else. So remember, you find your ways, you get to the offices, you know where you should go and register to vote, and you make a change with your voice. All right? Because remember, you have to make that change. Don't stay away from it. And I know that I don't think that you here will stay away from your constitutional right to vote, because all are very engaged in the process and know what going on and have issues to speak about. But I am saying, use your one vote. Use the influence that you have in your communities as community leaders. I hear several persons talking about your community programs that you have. So many. I never hear about so much in Moby or St. Elizabeth, to be quite frank. So I'm saying, use that power and talk up you, Mr. Fee? Okay. That young man in the back for the longest while he wants to say something. No, not you, not necessarily. The one just behind you. He had an issue as well. You know what I want to say, your issue again? Oh, student council again. Be a bright people, there be a student council this and student council that. What's your name, where you from?
Edward Wait. My name is Edward Wait, Granger, community of Granger. Well, I wanted to comment on the fact that high schools now are working with the hard trust to have the CAP programs in the afternoon, like Granger High School and From Technical High School. Because I was given the opportunity to train in data operations, level 1, and call center as well. So that's another opportunity for young people. Well, I'm the president now for the Peggy Bar Youth Club. That's in Granger as well. But my MP is not here, so I couldn't really.
Who is the MP?
Mr. Martin Neal.
Okay.
But the problem was really that we realized that majority of the young persons in my community is that they don't have any qualifications after high school, and they don't have any subjects at all. So what we were doing is that we had the hard trust and we were communicating with them, and they're willing to have us use the Peggy Bar Primary School as a hard center. What will happen is that the teachers, the primary school teachers, will teach in the afternoons. But we need funding. However, we have had sports day where we have competitions, raising some funds. We already have $30,000 now, because the teachers are saying that they won't work fully for free.
Okay.
But young persons don't have any work, so we're not expecting them to really find the money to come to school. So we have $30,000.
So you need more.
We need more.
How many members you have in your youth club, in the club that you're the president of?
30 persons.
30.
30.
And you have $30,000.
Yes.
Coincidence. Write a letter. You have a thing you call
the fund that I heard Mr. Vaz talk about. I didn't know that it was
Constituency Development Fund.
Yes.
So write to him. So write to Mr. McNeil. I'm pretty sure Mr. McNeil will be responsive, and Mr. Vaz will bring the message to him.
If you can write a letter and get it to me, I'll bring it to you.
Okay then, sir.
How can he
He has a constituency office in Little London where he has a secretary there every day. So you could drop it there also.
Okay.
But if you want it directly, I'll see him every Tuesday at least. Okay, so that's no problem for me to drop it off.
How can they get in touch with you? Because that's the other issue. Youth here, they want now to access funding for their projects from the Constituency Development Fund, not just for, well, obviously not for you alone, but for the other member of parliament. How do they get in touch with you?
Well, for me, my constituency office is right on Rose Street. The office numbers are available, 955-2886, along with my personal cell number, which most persons would have. That's 875-8759.
Hold on.
And
875-8759. Get in touch with. You're going to answer your phone
and the WhatsApp number is 997-3320. It's only used for WhatsApp alone, that particular number. And as I said, I call the constituency office number, that's 955-2886. And persons can get it afterwards if you're not taking it now. But as I said, we're trying to make ourselves as accessible as possible.
No, you. We can't talk for you. I know what you're talking about.
Well, I'm speaking on behalf of everybody who is missing today.
Yes, but the people them there. Who not agree say everybody else have made themselves available, youths? Do you agree that all the other MPs are making themselves available? Yes or no?
No.
Mr. Vaz, we're not really mince words right there. So big up yourself now. So clap Mr. Vaz again, he make himself available. We have to wrap up now, and one of the final issues that we have to look at is the infrastructure and the road network. Whole heap of fixing up one going, whole heap of issues there. So from your perspective, and I know you probably be a part of meetings that are talking about the big, even bigger than you from what you can do. but the road network needs some form of improvement. What can you say on that finally?
Well, that is true with regards to Westmoreland. And there has the thing in life though, persons tend to speak of what needs to be done and don't speak of what is done. And when things are done, we take it for granted. Probably 5 years ago, the talk was every avenue you enter Westmoreland from, you would know because the roads are bad. As we speak now, the only entrance into Westmoreland, the road is still bad, is my entrance. For Central Westmoreland, that would be coming from Montego Bay. Because if you look at White House now coming in, the road is good. If you look at from the Negril side coming in now, that road has also been fixed. And persons don't seem to recognize these things. People still have the talk to say, everywhere you go in Westmoreland, the road is still bad. But the fact of the matter is, some work has been done, but a lot more needs to be done. And the road that concerns me the most now, as I said, the one in my constituency, that is still an eyesore and still a problem to most persons, is the one from Macfield coming into Witton. And based on the last information that I have gotten, is that that road should begin sometime between next month and August. Because we have been lobbying for it for quite a while now, and I've been assured up to last week that something will be done in short order. So we have a lot of other roads that, of course, needs to be sorted out, but we have to understand that in Parliament, you have 63 members of Parliament, and everybody are lobbying for the same resources. And the fact of the matter is up to the minister and it's up to the government to prioritize who they think is most in need at the particular point in time. So we are continuing the lobbying for those roads, and we'll continue to lobby until we get what we know we deserve in Westmoreland, because we know we deserve a lot more than we have gotten in the past, and we're going to ensure that moving forward we get the things that are supposed to come here.
Okay, well, so you have a burning issue. I see your hand up for quite a time now. Let me give you my microphone.
Good evening, everyone. I am Yemia Mary, the president for Albany Housing Scheme, the youth, and also a representative of Godfrey Stewart High. Firstly, what you stated that you were speaking on behalf of your some pertaining to politics, right? But Mr. McNeil, only time I see him is when it come on close to election. And I live at Bay Road, and he represents Bay Road, that's London, and only time and he come run a free place where he just beg for votes or we volunteer money, and then me not see what I do. So when me ready for vote, me not go tell us I'm going to vote for him.
Talk up, youth. Talk up, youth, Mr. Fee. Talk up, youth, Mr. Fee. Youth for chat, man. Because youth fee. Youth fee. Continue.
Second thing, at my school, all right, so you will know that the Manning School and the Belmont Academy and Froome. So what we student leaders, we say, when we go for Mannings, we say the Godfrey Stewart High School. But what we are trying to, or what we are trying is that we're trying for the youth to just have more self-confidence and to just talk up, because we're trying to have some clubs at our school to empower the youth. Tell them that no matter the school you go, you still can do it, because it's not the school, it's what you do at the school. But
Well, wrap up half of it here. Finish.
one last thing.
Yes.
The teachers. Some of them, they underestimate us. If you're not performing in math, you're done at our school. You're not doing nothing. So, you see, if you're not dep on your games in a maths, just, you're none of the math teacher them and no friend. So, what I'm trying to say is that we as students at Godfrey Stewart High School, we don't know our rights. Some of us do, but the teachers at our school try to say that we have attitude and we try disrespect them, but there's our student counselor, Monisha Watkins. She, you see, once we go to her, she will stand up for anything at all. But still and foremost, I want to come over my school and just try to empower youth them. Please, please, me a beg.
Renee.
To respond quickly.
Hold a second. Renee and Deandra. Make note of that, you know, so she want to talk up, you'd come at the school, come and pour the youth them as well. We have to wrap up right now, giving the final word to Mr. Vaz, and you want to raise an issue. So you two want to have the two final word. Him first, then you.
Yeah. All right, regards to the school issue now. So youths, what we have, what the Minister of Education, Ms. Honorable Rural Reid, is the National Standards Curriculum, the NSC. And what this curriculum is, every school across the board, you'll be taught the same thing from grades 1 through to 9. So irrespective of the school you are placed in, you'll be taught the same. It's the same syllabus applies across the system. So don't feel belittled so that you're going to Godfrey Stewart, someone else is going to manage. It's the same syllabus there.
I don't think that's. I can respond to say that. I don't think that's a particular issue that she's raising. It's a matter of the actual the teacher and their own moral and how they influence the students and how they treat the students. Essentially, she's saying. So it's not necessarily the curriculum or the content, but how it is being delivered, perhaps. No, them issues are separate. So separate issues. We have to separate the issues. Yeah. So those issues we have to address separately.
In addition, is a good. I'm happy you mentioned the student council because I'm assuming that this person advocates on your behalf, and it's something that has been discussed.
Is she here or he?
With the staff, because the fact of the matter is, we want to ensure that the issues that you are having, the staff actually is aware of these issues, so they can make adjustments to whatever they are doing. So the fact that you mentioned the student council rep, I am assuming that this person would have advocated on your behalf, so the staff would have understood what you're saying. But I have a good relationship with the staff, and you know I visited the school a few times, so I will be bringing this point. I won't call a name, but I will be bringing this point that students are concerned about that particular issue to the staff, so they can understand and they can make the necessary adjustment I need to make. With regards to the MP, I know it has been an issue. I've heard it in my constituency too, where people say they're not seeing me as often as well they should. But the fact of the matter is, from my point of view, we have developed a schedule in Central Westmoreland where every day where I'm in the constituency, we find a different community to do community walks. Dr. McNeil, I know for a fact, has embarked on the same thing. I know he was down here the last couple of weeks. He was in Grangehill, he was in Negril, and I think he was in Orangeville. So, based on what I know he has started, I am sure he'll be coming to Bay Road in short order. But keep in mind that each constituency is very wide, and you can't be everywhere at the same time. And as I also mentioned, probably 2 days out of every week you have to be in Kingston. So if you calculate the days you're in each constituency for the year, even when you visit each community for each day, in that particular time, at the end of the year, there are some communities that still have not reached as yet. And sometimes you visit some areas that don't see everybody. So the complaint will be there that you don't see the MP as often as you'd want, but I can assure you that an effort is being placed to improve the visibility of your member of parliament. And he has, as I said, already embarked on such a program, as we are doing also in the other constituencies across Jamaica. So rest assured, you'll see him soon in Bay Road.
So here's your role right now, as I have to wrap up. I've been given a wrap-up signal by my producer, so I have to shut up. But tag them on social media. Say it on social media. Tag the parties on social media. Tag the whatever it is. Put it on social media. They tend to respond to social media because it will go viral and they want to be embarrassed. So you bring the issue, if it's a road they want to fix or the street light, whatever the issue is, take a picture, do a short video. Have a number of youths behind you because they say you're a president of a youth club and all out no attack and organize yourself. Once you know organize, put it on social media. This is after you done try other avenues by writing and calling. If you're still not getting through, then put it on social media. Rest assured, people will see it and say something. And if not, just call the media. we'll write the stories as well. We want good stories to write about serious issues affecting people, and we can give you my number when me left as well. So you can tell me, and I will write the story. All right? And they don't like when we write the stories, you know, so tell us. Okay, we have to wrap up right now, everybody. This has been very, 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 very good. Remember as well to follow up with your representatives. Mr. Vaz gave you his personal number, his office number, and other WhatsApp numbers everywhere. So we can't cuss him for that. At least he might try. So before we go again, we want to thank you for coming, sir. Thank you for being so honest and open, and give him a round of applause for all his efforts here today.